Let's see how this works. Well, I'm just adjusting the gorilla which supports this. Hi, I'm Archie. For a laugh, I'm going to read with my virus-induced voice, which I think has dropped an octave. It'll entertain me if nobody else. Now, the story I thought I'd read was Night of Life, which I did for Creative Writers last month. It's just printing off the printer right now, so it'll be ready in a couple of minutes. As it happens, I'm trying to do a kind of follow-on piece for the myth competition for December, and it's not done yet. So anyway, we're now on the 30th of December. It's at 8:30 in the evening, and I think I'll just have to ramble on while this thing kind of chunders its way out. I've been watching, let's see, the Short Story Club, SSC as it's sometimes called. Been watching how that's been developing, and we've come to the end of 12 months. It's an interesting period of transition. I think older hands on my Telegraph, and certainly in Creative Writers, will remember to Louisa's earlier incarnation as... Oops, I think I'll have to pause here. I seem to run out of paper. No, we haven't. Oh, that's fast. Oh my goodness. Hey ho. Just to continue on that, the Short Story Club earlier incarnation eventually became Creative Writers. I'm watching with interest to see what happens now. I think this is really down to the people who take part. What do they want to happen? And who wants it? Who wants to do it? Who wants to admin it? Because I think it would take quite a bit of work, the way that it functions at the moment. Anyway, if my voice holds out, we shall get this story done. It'll take about half an hour, so you can go to sleep now. Here we are. Night of Life. Oops, can't start on page 12. Let's start again. Night of Life. There we are. 1. A shell. Olia, hard-eyed, pops her head out, making a sign of 5. No, 4 minutes, with blocky fingers. Then she clambers out of the body bag in this memory of a tumbled-down student's sit. The corridors are littered with rubble, too difficult to clear away. Olia will be back, but not soon. Let's see if we can adjust that. A little bit at least. I'm unshaven. The cold tears into me. I know a shell is close and I have the 10 credits. In the half-light I rap my knuckles on the corridor wall. A thin, whispering sound. Closer. It is her, shivering in thin clothes, worry-ravaged fair hair, gaunt, and overjoyed to come to me. She struggles to get into the body bag, which is made of little more than paper. I pack scattered rags of paper and cardboard around her. It will add warmth. Tears in its fabric expose the marks and scars of privation on her legs. She shudders against me, desperate, clinging, pleading to live. The seconds become minutes. I wait for the shuddering to subside, to know that she benefits from our thin warmth. In my mind's eye, I caress her hair and lay my head upon her lap. I would have lain with her to bring her warmth and love. 10 credits, but not for that. Oh God, what's happened to you? She'd found me. It had been months. Just hold me, please. Cold. Shivering. Her breathing eases. Eddie? Yes, a shell. You have to bear with me, turn the pages. It's so good to be with you again. I'm so sorry about... Who can unsay the past? It is gone, and our paths have crooked away from each other. Yet for a few fleeting moments more, here she is, with me. I hold her to share our closeness. Tired. I am tired and cold, yet lost in shared space. Eddie? Again, a whisper so soft it barely reaches my ears, and with it a warning prickle. What is it? I want to know. Dare I ask? A shell. A beautiful name, one I love to say, but now... Will you remember me, Eddie? I know what's coming, but I don't want to know. Shut out the world. Shut it all away. Does she know? A fatigued movement of her arm and hand, and the shell continues. Take this, please. A small object pressed into my hand. No, she can't leave me. Not now. Head against my cheek. Eyelids flutter and close. I hold her nearer, carefully. But her breathing becomes a sigh, which stops. No! Mere minutes and she's gone. Another dark place of sadness opens in my soul. My chest swells with a pain. Why? Pressure arrows through my throat, and I know there are no answers to my question. Why are tears forced from me? Why this pain again? I thought we were through so long ago, and now... It didn't matter who was right. I just want her back. Soon she'll be growing cold. That was our life. Laughter and love, fierce and tender, lavished and lost to time. I hold on to a shell, oblivious to cold and tears. Will you remember me? The cry of the lost, found at the last. And me, who will I find? Anyone? Echo, and echo in turn. Time. Not enough time. Never. A shell no longer needs her wasted frame. I should move on. Olya will be back. The rhythmic pad of feet calls to me, whispering the end of my lost. Olya. She looks down and comments acerbically. Honestly, leave someone for just 5 minutes. Part 2. Body language. I see these little signs, couples where one wants to be elsewhere, and alone, barely tolerant of the other, who is to be abandoned at first opportunity. Why doesn't she just let me be? There is only so much I could take. Olya soldiers on, remorseless. I see relationships fracturing, people trapped in mutually destructive web of expectations. Why are you so blind? I grind my teeth silently and look elsewhere. In the dim light I should appear indifferent, bored. I watch you, you know. God, why doesn't Olya just shut up? Signals, body language, how you react to others. Aren't you interested? What am I supposed to say? So what do you see? Just accept what's on offer. Live for the moment. You're a fool if you don't. You read so much into actions. You read too much, I think to myself, but say nothing. Olya falls silent. Memories. A shell threw herself into experience. Always would. We went places, stood among the 728 columns of jasper, onyx, granite and marble in the hypostyle hall of the deserted great mosque of Salford. Listened to the submerged chimes of Big Ben, flew over the pelagic sludge in the North Pacific, gyre, trekked to the last trickle in the Amazon desert, visited a lush and fertile Greenland, watched the West Antarctic ice sheet carving from Ellsworth Land. I wallow in the inner pain of memories I can't throw away, and they hurt again. We live, we grow, and we suffer. Do we learn? I don't know. Not me at any rate. Part 3. Awake. Black crows scatter at some unseen sound. A cold wind blows and fitful clouds drain the light from the sky. Broken walls and sagging roofs are a testament to neglect. Nearby, from a part-gutted building, I hear disjointed conversation. "Who are you calling stupid?" "I said you don't know your place." "I know enough." "You're just full of shit." "You want trouble?" "From you?" The voices sink into drug-addled curses. This post-urban area is like so many others, neglected by those who prefer to look inside themselves for entertainment. My reverie is interrupted. "It's here." I look over her shoulder. Olya is unaccommodating, as usual. She stands in front of whatever she's found, and so makes it difficult for me to see what she's doing. Okay, she protects herself. I stand back and wait. "Well, aren't you coming to look? I can't stay here holding this forever, you know." I blush furiously, and am suddenly tongue-tied. Why does she choose now to be helpful? A wan sun floods the rubble-lined streets with thin warmth. Thin? We are all thin. Thin with want and need. These last days have burned dull anger into me, a match to the ever-gnawing hunger. I still have those 10 credits. Pointless now. A shell's wasted body now lies stiffening in that gloomy passage. Part of me lies there with her. I didn't want to leave and was ready to give up, to embrace the long cold sleep, but Olya nagged me ceaselessly. In the end it was easier to follow. Movement brought life to my limbs, but didn't ease the gnawing hollow in my heart. With half an ear for Olya, old conversations play through my head, an age ago. "What's a nice guy like you doing here?" "Sightseeing, like you, I guess." "No, I'm just here for the experience." "Been here before?" "A lifetime ago." I'd laughed at that. Some lines just work well. We hooked up as you do. Soon it was serious, very serious. But she wanted more, not just me or us, but anyone, anything, everything. Where do you draw the line? I couldn't live with her. Without her was hell. You get on. What choice is there? And now I hold 10 credits in my hand. It is hers by right. No good now. Being with her again awakened old feelings. And it wasn't to be. God, how I missed her. I relived recent moments and stood there, a mess. I am crippled, stuck in a loop. Emo smash. Final destination. Worthless. Compass broken. Gain 1 level in self-pity. Find me a dark corner so I can go back when no one is watching. And hide. There is a slight noise. Olya is losing patience. What am I supposed to see? I bring my eyes to bear. A shell's final cold embrace still echoes in my head. Wake up, Ed! Olya calls and I must answer. I wake. I'd been in there for just 1 night. Night of life, they called it. It seemed like half a lifetime to me. My speed of life changed. The world speeded up. Speed of life? It was well understood that as you aged, the years seemed to pass faster. A subjective state of affairs determined by how the brain filters experience. In sleep mode, these filters come down and subjective time slows, which meant that those who hooked up to Night of Life could experience months or even years of subjective time in one night. I looked around in a sleep shell, featureless and grey. Olia was of course not there, being merely the voice of the machine that connected sleeping dreamers together. A dream of Earth, as it could have been, without aliens. Aliens, they encouraged this technology. It was good for us. It gave us something to strive for. One endless night. Not cheap, but real. Oh, so real. Night of Life. That's the big thing for those with nothing else in their lives. Save your credits. 10 credits for one hyped-up dream. Yeah, that's me and 6 billion others. One of the many with plenty of time and little to do. Those you met in the Night of Life could be real. You never know who was real and who wasn't. You assumed nothing. We shared the same dream, just like Dick's Perky Pat world. But rather than rely on the hallucinogenic Can D, Night of Life was powered by reality simulators and invigilated by the ubiquitous All Your Answers units. All Your Answers. A guide for the lost and the disheartened. Olia, I called her. Merely a machine guide, and something more if you paid the price. I didn't have the credits for something more, so I suffered Olia as she was. After I parted from a shell, I'd had a moment of weakness. Since then, Olia had dogged my every step, organising me. All my answers. I reflected bitterly as I left the sleep shell. All I had were unanswered questions. I stood and stretched. Racing experience slowed down to a crawl, and all I wanted to do was crawl back into the sleep shell. Except I wasn't going to use that 10 credits. No longer in my dreaming hand, but still unspent in my account. Not mine. Meant for a shell. My invitation to her. Meet me in a future dream. And it mattered to me. That was final. A credit was a considerable sum, worth 18,000 US dollars. I needed to get saving. For me. Section 4. Workfare. How could I go on like this? I needed to throw myself into work. At least there I had something to go to. What was the time? I wasn't sure, but I needed to be away from this place. A quick exit from the Night of Life building took me to the bus stop. It wasn't far to Cairo, just over 2 miles. My work gang, the Mississippi levees. Yeah, I worked on them. We're doing those round Cairo, Illinois. Honest physical labour, and in return food and shelter. And purpose. The crash in birth rates made people more mobile. As workfare programs went, levy reduction was effective in dealing with the mass unemployment that followed the collapse of the military-industrial economics. Fiercely resisted at first, but only by the old regime. Seems funny, doesn't it? Spending so much time and effort to control the Great River, and then to undo it all. But that was the price. If we wanted access to interstellar travel technology, we needed to demonstrate planetary husbandry, which meant returning vast tracts of land to their pre-agricultural state. What a stink the aliens had caused. When the orbital satellites had been fired, under guise of ensuring safe entry to Earth's atmosphere, they'd also incinerated military ordnance and blown holes in business models. aliens. I should call them by their real name, the Ephilaria. Human-shaped, mammalian, biped. So we are led to believe. All you can see is haze, even up close, courtesy of light distortion technology, maintained mentally. As for sound, they assure us that the flat and metallic is merely the diction of their translator units. A bus was coming. It was time to stop daydreaming. I got on, hand gripping tightly. It was only when I sat down that I wondered what was in my hand. I looked. Impossible. When you left Night of Life, you only took memories. That and your credit balance. So why have I still got this thing in my hand? Isn't it supposed to disappear or vanish into the ether? I looked at it. A memory token. This was a shell's. Only useful to her. It stored Night of Life memories, a kind of backup in case of mental trauma or psychic death. Death. A fresh day should blur memory. I felt the token and was broken inside. It lay there in my hand. Last night and the Night of Life. Just one night. A night like years. Flashback. A shell, impatient with me. Eddie, you need to get a life. That begged the question. What was the point of being here? I didn't need more sensation. I just wanted her. But she wanted more. We don't really need to do this. She planned more highs, more drugs. I didn't need more mind-altering. Not here. What for? She'd been on a self-indulgent trip long before we met. And me, I couldn't keep pace. We disagreed, agreed to disagree, and parted. Her relentless libido would be channeled elsewhere. That had wounded me. The sense of sharing turned away. And now torment returned, bad as ever it had been. I was wrong. For her I was wrong. Everything felt wrong, especially letting her go. Wrong, 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 a flood of misery. I'd never wash a shell from my mind. The bus pulled to a stop. I went to the proctor and announced myself. Ed? Oh, Ed. You're late, Ed. Late? The work gang place has been filled. What? I couldn't be late, surely. My heart sank. The work proctors weren't to be trifled with. Go back to your hiring centre in St. Louis. I was off the job. That really took the bounce out, which is saying something, as there was none in me to start with. It sank further in. St. Louis was 150 miles off. Rejoined the lump, looking for work. Knowing my luck, signing on would be finished for the day by the time I got there. Part 5. Life and Love. I walked across Barnes Jewish Hospital Plaza. Forest Park was off to the right. Too far without a car. The hiring centre was closed, and I'd be signing on tomorrow. I sat over from the tennis courts and studied my fingers gloomily. How could I have been late? No answer. The problem was there was always plenty of willing workers who'd jump for a job at the drop of a hat. The sun shone gently down. It could have poured for all I cared. Time passed, and quietness filled me. I was resigned to forces beyond my control. The sound of alien fabric. Hello, human. Oh, hi. Who was this? Oh, I forgot. Ephilaria, hard to see. Are you well? What did I tell an alien? Talking to a stranger? Would that help? I kind of messed up, you see. I subconsciously fingered the memory token. How did you come by that? Flat. Metallic. Interrogative. I hesitated at a loss, then looked down and laughed nervously, saying, I'm not so sure this should be here. Is it personal? The fuzzy outline of an appendage came close, inquiring. An arm? A hand? Did that fuzziness hide things I'd rather not know? Perhaps Epheleri were hideous to us. Plainly this one wanted to see the memory token. May I look? Obtained at such a high price, a last link to another life. Reluctantly I handed it over. There was a crackle of released energies. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! What? Very un-alien-like, but I was too busy being flung backwards and falling into blackness until... My ears were numb and my head ached. I was flat on my back, almost. Okay, my head was cradled on someone's lap. Feather-light fingers on my brow, moist touch, trembling. Or was that me? It felt good. Oh, my head. Things came into view. A face, different, but true and like. I knew you would come. A whisper, and yet remembered oh so well. A shell? My heart was pounding. I broke into a sweat. So, stupid and to the point, I ventured. Hey, what did you do with my alien? She instantly retorted, That's me. Then continued falteringly, I'm sorry about things, but I had to know. Know what? However, I wasn't wondering. I was in heaven. Well, close enough. She looked at the token in her hand. It took me by surprise, before conceding. Well, not exactly, but enough to interfere with my distortion field. I was gradually coming to. Large moon-like eyes gazed down from a heart-shaped face. Long, pale golden hair. My mind raced. Wasn't Night of Life off limits to Epheleri? They certainly gave out that going local was beneath them. Her body against my head felt interesting. There was plainly another, smaller set of breasts below the ones we normally expect. No, I didn't want this to end. She started to get up. Hey, don't go! I need to talk to you, but not here. Come, I have to fix my field. And my hair. There was nothing wrong with her hair. Things are complicated. We shouldn't meet, but we have to. There are differences in plumbing. I'm terrified of losing her, and she of being discovered. Nights aren't enough. We live, and we love. Well, I hope this held out. The battery might have gone. I don't know, I think it's still rolling. I think all that remains for me to do is to offer a few seasoned greetings to those seasoned writers out there. And maybe the voice will get better. Maybe my reading will improve as well. I think I was pretty awful on that. Hey ho, half an hour of pain for you has now finished.